The Enlightenment Chasers. Royalties of Peace. We are stealing the storms back to peace that has no storm while holding on to perfect peace. It is Monday, March 24th of 2025 on episode 32 of a Golden Age podcast. Today, focusing on the market and the dismantling of the United States of America. A cleansing ritual taking place and marketing the economy. The evaluation. The economy is the evaluation of the cleansing process taking place in the United States of America, the one and only nation that stands at the top of the mountain, the mind of humanity, the great enlightenment, owing to the new world order that only came to light after a long time tunneling in the dark. It started with the dividing of the continents into two parts, the America on one side and the others on the other. This division did not separate the people who were existing in these areas of the continents. But there was a rebirth taking place. And the roots still prevailing till today. They are not backing down. They must reach the completion of enlightenment, of none left behind. Humans are peculiar of reshaping the world like the winds. And Mother Nature. Mother Nature in general and the wind are like the shadows of humanity working together to achieve the enlightenment perfect. Immigrants through the Bering Strait from Asia to America were not the first, but they were habitats of humans before the continent even splitted into two. When we start with the immigrants, We are only trying to express the transitioning that has been taking place of every rebirth for greater enlightenment. We are best known of migrating for a purpose, seeking for better living, seeking for better environment to settle in. So is the mind also seeking for battlefield free. The need to be more faster and smart at the same time requires time taken to draw a plan. Might not have been easy in the past, but of us now should have become perfect of plan establishing to complete our endeavors to reach the end goal of enlightenment perfect. We are on a journey to perfect peace, no matter all complications arising, no matter all the alarms. They are not false alarms, but an awareness to seek wellness and not complicated griefs awaiting at the end. Considering the United States of America, the red states are under more pressure than the blue state because of the running president. His Excellency, President Trump, is one of a kind. Well prepared for this time of complete engagement of our end goal, of complete building of the instruction and plan. The tunneling is now outward presenting. Almost 250 years of trying to establish that perfect of a nation which our forefathers have been visioning looking at the sun. When the sun sets and rises, there is always that yearning to reach perfect enlightenment, of never descending, of never setting. Is it not possible for the sun to never set? And yet man reaches rest of no more working. Reconstruction of the United States of America started after Civil War to superpower status. It has taken cultural, economic, diplomatic, and political forces to shape the USA. Immigrants coming in and establishing self had reached a place where all that was required is to practice to perfect and no longer bringing in the number of people that were required to enable the United States of America had been reached. It was about coming in, but the cup also gets full. The more you put into the cup, it only pushes out. And you could push out even the good by enabling a battlefield of within. And the fear to lose can enable others prevent to bring out the best of them, trying to protect themselves and family. If it's about immigration, then Cameroon, the miniature of Africa, will not be struggling, but rather realizing the misinterpretation of our forefathers, whose blood and sweat the soil did water. It was not a form of fertilizer for the soil, but rather of the mind to reach enlightenment, of reasoning over the long term of keeping a tradition to increase in population. When the increase has reached its brim of expected, there is need to draw a line and start work. Every workforce has a certain number required for recruitment. You cannot just keep on recruiting. Every class has a number set to be registered. You cannot just keep on registering students for a classroom. The more the students than expected, it compromises the learning strategy. The USA is suffering from increase of population. A small nation that was meant to be the enlightenment. That peak like the sun to the entire galaxy. What we seem not to understand is the pain the rich people are experiencing of having wealth, and some of them of low income in their midst. It's like being satisfied outside is killing self inside. Because the mind cannot rest of a complicated sight. Being not rich may not understand what a rich man is going through. You need not enter their shoe. You need not fit into their shoes to understand, but rather reasoning. True that money should reflect our expertise of being, but that is not what it seems like today in the United States of America. Might have been considered in the past of trying to enable the effective plan, holding on to the best of its time, reaching a better right now is not to insult that which has been our assistance. Being the born of yesterday should not insult the hands that fed us to who we are today. We must honor our past of their best. We must honor every tool used of their best before what we are of better today. The dream of yesterday is far from our reality expected today. Our forefathers have the right to point the finger at us of not being able to be stable by now, rather fighting each other on skin color, which they had already valued humanity above it all, having the dream of us, the people, being one, reaching enlightenment perfect was their goal, and not racial discriminacy. Worried about oligarchy, oligarchy, a small group of people having control of an organization, leaving out the others, can be complicated if we do not understand what it means of to whom more is given, more is required. Yes, we all should be of equal giving to ease work, but cannot point the finger at those with more given, doing more work. But rather, we trying to understand where we are falling short of income, what is depriving us. They also are having children like we, and they still have more than we do. It shows power being involved, even in our wrongdoing. Where we are all wrong, it is very, very sure that those with more power will rule, even without wisdom. So while we understand those of greater power without wisdom, why not enable wisdom to play its part so we can become equivalent and not rather trying to show power on power? It takes reasoning to reach enlightenment. If the whites of color are using power to rule over the blacks of color because of their roots where we are today, then it is us to utilize wisdom to fulfill its purpose for equality and not to overtake. The right must be done. The end cannot lie so long the right is being done. You cannot let good work suffer because of one struggling with anxiety and power. Today, March 24th, the news explained that it is the third cabinet meeting held with the president concerning Doge at work. Today, and also a news from a federal judge in Maryland stating that Doge should not access sensitive information from the Department of Treasury, Department of Education, and any office of personal management infos like social security numbers and bank numbers, sensitive parts of individuals. Economy is what holds us. When we have lost our identity, we hold onto our gold. When the king loses his mind, he holds onto his crown because he knows that when he comes to his senses, he will remember who he is by his crown. Is what this federal judge is endeavoring. That the people, while they are still in the place of recovery, should be able to have their sensitivity part untouched The only thing left of every individual is their sensitive within, their personal information. But interestingly, how on the other side, when the white race go to Africa or to the third world countries, they are given access into all of this because of the reliability. We're forgetting to realize the sensitivity of the people. We are all individuals and must be respected accordingly. It is obvious that if I am given such an opportunity, I would rather educate the one intimidating themselves. Intimidation can be very, very destructive. Not because we're not intelligent, but intimidated of division, of some looking greater than others, some looking of more dominion, and others like subordinates. No nation is a subordinate to another. No nation is a subordinate to another. Must be very sensitive from this place of understanding what is going on in the United States of America. The miniature of a multicultural world has taught us a lot of how sensitive individuals can be of their personal information. And they need to respect that sensitive part of every being in all nations. It happens to be that Doge is in charge, and the one in charge of Doge is from Africa, South Africa. Indicates the importance of African nations and third world countries being of lower does not deprive self from the true identity of being humanity. We are humans and all deserve respect. Drawing a line is legal, and even if given an opportunity, it is self to demonstrate reasoning. Becoming educated is very important. I am very glad to be this educated today. Both blacks and white beginning to be of equality, of expected, while strengthening the Constitution by understanding what our forefathers wrote the constitutions for, to reach enlightenment and not to increase more than expected. Earth can only take how much it can, no matter how large we think the earth is. Its capacity for humans is very limited, but there are also other existence. So far, we can realize a political cleansing going on in the United States of America. Power cleansing involving both black and white. Mr. Elon Musk It's not just a one person, but all nations that enabled